Hi everyone, VortexTCG here, and today I'm going to be showcasing you the first gameplay video of my D-Brigade deck profile that I showcased a couple days ago, and if you're looking forward to it, please do like and subscribe, and the deck list is already on the channel, so do check out the video if you're a bit interested in the full build. But I get a pretty decent start here going into the Commandramon and then Pride Memory Boost to bring out another Commandramon, so feeling pretty good. My opponent is going to be playing Jellymon, so this is before RB01, so it's very interesting, but my opponent is going to be playing it. He swings into security with the Tesla Jellymon, and now he's considering if he wants to use the end of attack effect for Tesla Jellymon, which could make him unsuspend. And at the moment, it's probably good value for it because a lot of my guys are low DP values, and this level 4 is actually quite beefy. It's a 6k DP, so it pretty much beats over the majority of my deck. And he passed the turn by going into the Jellymon, which I believe this is the BT13 variant, which allows you to draw a card if you play a Tamer, which is quite nice. I pop the Pride Memory Boost here, and then I'm just considering what I want to do. I swing with the security and hit. I can't remember what this option card is, but it removes all of the sources, and I believe it also bounces back a guy, maybe. I don't think it does. I think it just removes all the sources from all the Digimon. So not as effective in this situation, but I get the idea. I mean, it gets rid of stuff like the X antibody stuff, for example, that can be kind of annoying in these decks. So I play Kazu, and yep, that was a bit of a misplay for me. I should have played the Kazu first and then got into the Commandramon, because if I do that, I'm able to then get a draw and discard, which could have helped me quite a bit here, maybe fueling my discard so I can get more Commandramons in name. But in this situation, I'm able to still use it with this Commandramon. But yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, ordering, it should be better ordered in my opinion. So I swing a security. I can't remember what that Digimon is, but it's the level 6 that my opponent's playing. At the moment, this deck doesn't really have access to a level 6 until RB01, so I think a lot of players are just playing random blue, light green, and red stuff. Well, probably not red stuff, because red stuff, Red Gammamon, for example, has Siriusmon, I believe it is. No, not Siriusmon, Canaweismon, and unfortunately, Angora and Jelly don't really have a good level 6 option at the moment until RB01 comes out. So my opponent is going to be swinging with the Tesla Jellymon into security, hits a 3k Commandramon there, and you know what's going to be happening. He's going to try and unsuspend, obviously, and I think he's just considering it. And I think you should anyways, because if he does end up going into, for example, Fetismon, he's able to get, you know, multiple draws out of it, but he decides not to, and also play the Kirishiro. So interesting play. Maybe I probably would have unsuspended anyways, because that means everything is protected unless I have like an answer. So might have been a bit better in this situation, but I get his idea behind it. I swing a security with the Commandramon, get to draw and discard with the Kazu, and then hits a V-Wing Blade. So yeah, I mean, what are the chances? The delete guy doesn't want to be deleted. Unfortunately, that's what happens, but he does return the other Commandramon to my hand, which definitely does suck, because for me, I mean, I would rather have, you know, the body on the field. So I play Congo here just so that I could slow my opponent down, because if I don't slow him down, chances are he's going to be able to win this turn. So the only way I think he could potentially win is if he goes into a level 6, but I mean, at that point he's probably spent his turn, and the Fetismon, I believe, it costs 7, so it's not fully protected yet. It costs 7, so it won't be able to get over Congo, unfortunately. So a bit unfortunate, but he does get some benefits. I believe this is the one that if he has 6 or less cards, he gets to draw 2. So pretty good value for my opponent here, just setting up the following turn if needed. And so here I think he goes into, I can't remember what this Digimon's called, but I believe it returns a guy without sources, I believe. I could be wrong, but it seems like that's what it does. So it goes back to my hand, I gain a memory from the Kazu, and then we go to my turn. I swing with a security with the Commandramon, it dies, it's an ultimate flare, so I don't get to add it. I swing a security again with the Commandramon, and then to end the game, I go into Darkdramon, just showing that I do have the number here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put them at the top, gain 2 memory for each, and then swing for game. We now get into game 2, and my opponent's going to be starting off here. He goes into the Puyoyomon and then goes into the Jellymon. This one's the neat one, I believe, allows you to return a level 3 as inherited and also draw a card, but he's going to go straight into the Tesla Jellymon, the problematic card from our first game. I go into a Commandramon and then I pass the turn by going into Izzy, all black, so I get to gain a memory here, which is quite nice, giving my opponent only 1, and I'm just figuring out the order here because, if I'm being honest, I mean, the order could potentially matter for something like the Pride Memory Boost. So he goes to 1 and then pass the turn. So my opponent has now got pretty much an empty field, so he might be able to go into the Tesla Jellymon, swing 2 times, which could be very problematic for me. So he does promote here, and I think after the first game where he doesn't really die to anything in security due to, you know, all my guys being low DP values, I think he's got a little bit more confidence in swinging. So he swings into security and hits a Commandramon, and obviously still stays alive, so great benefit for my opponent here. He's then able to swing again hits a 2k Commandramon, so he's doing pretty well. I mean, this is something that I really can't answer very well because all of my Digimon are essentially lower than 6k, so I either need to get rid of this with hard removal, or I just need to essentially like trade into with like a level 5 here, or just outspeed him in this game. So I play Kazu here in the correct order this time, adding and discarding, and V-Wing Blade is the first thing. Now, obviously, if I was playing a high stack deck, this would be way more annoying, but in this situation, it's not that bad because all he's just doing is returning the Commandramon back to my hand, and almost did a misplay there about the Pride Memory Boost. I was going to return them back to the hand, and instead of trashing them. So this is one of the annoying things about D-Brigade, and it will happen, unfortunately, with some of the future games. It doesn't matter, thankfully. I checked all the footage, but when I looked at how I used the BT4 Commandramon, you're supposed to add them or put them to the bottom of your deck instead of trashing them, but thankfully in future games it actually doesn't matter in the results. So he goes into Fetismon, is able to trash cards, I believe, which allows him to return the Commandramon. So at this point I'm definitely not feeling very confident to say the least. So he swings into security and hits a Tankdramon, but unfortunately it gets 1k DP from, I believe, the Puyoyomon, so doesn't feel great. He goes into double Hammer Spark, so I'm expecting a little bit more problematic cards coming up, and this is the new Jellymon. It has Evade, which is quite annoying in this situation, if I'm being perfectly honest, because that means I essentially cannot get rid of this. And then he goes into the promo Jellymon. I need to pick up some of these Jellymons because I have ordered a couple boxes of RB01 so I can do some openings on the channel. So I should probably end up picking up the cards for the decks at some point, but haven't done that yet, so I should probably fix that very soon. So here, I don't feel like I'm in a great position, but I feel like I have to do what I need to do here, which is I am going to, I believe, go into the DefXmon that is in my hand, because I don't think I could really allow anything to live on the field here. Well, I can, but it wouldn't be great. So I go into DefX here, giving him 5, de-digivolving, and then deleting all the guys except for the Evade one because it avoids it by going into the Evade. So a bit of frustrating. Pass the turn here. So he's got quite a lot of memory to play with. So he swings with, I think he's going to start swinging. So he swings with the new Evade guy. He taps the Tamer to draw 1. And this was a misplay, apparently, because apparently my opponent had a hybrid in his hand. So very unfortunate for my opponent. I think her Ashhoot, which is the person's mate that I'm playing against, ended up being like, oops, kind of thing. So we're just like, don't know how to really deal with that, but yeah, so it wasn't great for sure, but you know, these mistakes happen. We've all been there where we use a tamer effect. Even I have with D-Brigade, for example, where I've decided not to go into the hybrid, even though it would win me the game because I suspend the Kazu, for example. So we've all been there, and it's very unfortunate when it does happen. So yeah, just not great for my opponent, unfortunately. So now he's just kind of just playing cards out because he unfortunately can't really do that much unless he's able to potentially get rid of the card or get rid of Defx. So he's still got 4 security, so this is anyone's game at this point, because I mean, he only needs to get essentially 1 swing. I think he's just considering if he wants to swing with the Jellymon, the evade one, so there is something that he can do, but he decides to pass here. So I used Defx to delete the lowest and then the Jellymon, and I think this was a misplay, because either way I'm going to be getting rid of this Jellymon anyways, because obviously, you know, I need to get rid of it essentially. Like there's no way that I can't get rid of it. So I think if my opponent ended up swinging with the Jellymon and then going into the hybrid next turn, I couldn't have done anything about it. So yeah, very unfortunate for my opponent. I think yeah, there's not really much you can do. So I trade into the Jellymon just so I can get rid of it, because I do not want to open myself up. Swing with the Defx, hit a Tesla Jellymon. I believe that's the draw 1 variant, which is very powerful. Well, it's okay actually. I think it's not the greatest Tesla Jellymon, but you know, it does some stuff with the deck, which is very important. I play a Dartdramon here to return the top 5 and then put them to the top. And then at this point, I swing with the Dartdramon, hits a, what is that, Submarinamon? I don't know exactly, but it's the guy that I've digivolved from Armadillomon, which I do know because that is my next game after this. So at this point, I think I'm just going to pass the turn by playing another Digimon here. I think here I'll pop the memory boost first and then play the Commandramon and then another Commandramon. So yeah, obviously I don't know if I had the blocker Commandramon in my hand at this point, but if I did, it would have protected me from the you know, the hybrid potentially. So yeah, not great. Goes into the Tesla Jellymon, and I think at this point, with how little memory he has, unfortunately, there's not really much of an answer he can do. So not a great situation. So I think here he's just thinking if there's any answer that he potentially might have. I think at this situation though, like, he needs to have quite a lot. So he just goes into the Fetismon and passes the turn, and at this point, we're just hoping that there's nothing in security, because we've already seen stuff like the V-Wing Blade. We've seen a lot of stuff, so could be anything. Could be anything. Hatch and Egg, gain a memory from the Kazu. I digivolve into the Commandramon. Hits a V-Wing Blade, so I was correct in my assumption here, because yeah. So I then swing with the Defxmon. It's a, I can't remember what this thing's called, but thank goodness I actually returned, played 2 guys out this turn, otherwise I wouldn't have won. And yeah, so I just swing full game.